Hi, my name is Rahaf Alharbi. I'm a PhD student at the University of Michigan. Today, I'm presenting our paper titled Understanding Emerging Obfuscation Technologies in Visual Description Services for Blind and Low Vision People. This work is co-authored with Robin Brewer and Sarita Schoenebeck at the School of Information in the University of Michigan. So what do I mean by visual description services? They're tools that enable blind and low vision people to navigate different visual contexts. By using their phone cameras, they could know practical everyday things, like if this milk carton is expired or not. They could pick out a fashionable outfit or watch the sunset. These services could be powered by human labor, such as volunteers or trained agents, AI, or both. While visual description services are tremendously helpful, they have privacy implications. Sensitive materials might be accidentally apparent in the background without blind and low vision people knowing about them. For example, if a blind person wanted to know the expiration date of a milk carton in a less than ideal environment, like this messy kitchen, where on the left, there's a pile of unwashed dishes, and on the right, there's leftovers. Many might not feel comfortable using a visual description service in this context. For sighted people, they could potentially manipulate the camera view to only show regions of interest. However, that might be difficult for blind low vision people. To preserve privacy, scholars have been building obfuscation systems that automatically detect elements thought to be sensitive, private, or even embarrassing, and then remove these elements by applying various filters such as blur or mask. As a result, blind people might feel more comfortable using visual description services. While past work suggests integrating obfuscation into visual description services, the opinions and perspectives of blind and low vision people are largely missing. Thus, our work poses and explores the following question: how do blind and low vision people want to experience and engage with obfuscation? To answer this question, we conducted 20 semi-structured interviews with blind and low vision people who often use visual description services and live in the United States. We were inspired by speculative design approaches to include an imagination session, where we briefly described obfuscation to participants. The goal of this session was to understand what participants think about obfuscation and how would they improve it. To analyze the data, we used a reflexive thematic analysis. For more information, I encourage you to refer to the method section in our paper. Now I'll cover key findings from our research. First, we found that participants wanted to enact more control over obfuscation. And second, there were tensions with interpreting and understanding obfuscation outcomes. One way participants wanted to enact control over obfuscation was through choosing obfuscation content. Nearly all participants recognized that privacy decisions are complicated. For that reason, they wanted to have the option to choose what types of content should be obfuscated and when, rather than having a top-down approach enforced on them. Many participants explained that privacy is subjective and varies at an individual level. Some are worried that their own privacy needs would not be reflected in obfuscation systems, especially as they were minorities in the United States. Saad told us, so people in the US consider medication a very private thing, whereas in the Middle East, it's not a big deal. Because each person has their own privacy calculus that might be overlooked in obfuscation system, being able to choose obfuscation content is important. The second major finding was around tensions with interpreting obfuscation outcomes. That is, participants highlighted the difficulty of knowing if obfuscation occurred correctly or not. Eloquently summarized by David, the only way to assess if it's actually working is if someone sighted can take a look and say, yeah, it's actually being blurred. We can't inherently trust the software as it is right now. Without a way for blind and low vision people to notice, obfuscation systems might wrongfully obscure elements or shift around as users move their phone. Findings highlight a disconnect between popular trends in obfuscation research and the needs of blind and low vision people. Our analysis reveals that participants opposed fully automated obfuscation approaches. Rather, participants wanted to be actively involved in the obfuscation process. To improve obfuscation, we situate our findings within the framework of interdependence, which positions accessibility as a process that's co-created between communities, structures, and environments. Through foregrounding interdependence, we were able to complicate privacy concerns, establish safety mechanisms, and recognize the added effort on blind and low vision people. In this talk, I'll focus on the first two, around complicating privacy concerns and establishing safety measures. Our analysis rejects automatic approaches to obfuscation that enforces limited definitions of privacy. Because interdependence is largely theorized and practiced by disability justice communities, it underscores the importance of understanding privacy beyond the singular identity approach, which past work has done, and towards considering how racial and ethnic backgrounds inform privacy considerations. Interdependence encourages us to establish safety measures for obfuscation mistakes rather than to try to build error-free systems that don't exist. Currently, the design of obfuscation systems actively conceals errors from blind and low vision people. Therefore, we need to think of transparency beyond quote-unquote seeing outcomes and towards establishing non-visual transparency methods. One example could be platform-level protocols that give users the agency and options over their data. To summarize our paper, our research emphasized that adding AI and visual access technologies to improve privacy is far from simple. In fact, popular approaches are misaligned with the needs of blind people. They contribute to added cognitive labor for blind low vision people and tensions with knowing if the technique worked correctly. We argued that interdependence is a generative framework for unpacking accessibility frictions in human-AI interactions. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm open to being contacted synchronously in the conference or asynchronously via email. My email is rmalharb@umich.edu.